I want to talk about a certain trend that is roaming around social media, but I don't think we're asking the right questions. It's not really a bright future we're heading towards. Welcome back to Humanoia. Today I want to talk about a certain trend that is roaming around social media, but I don't think we're asking the right questions. To talk more about it, with me is Bill from GPT. Hello, Bill. Thanks for being with us today.
Hey, Nermina. I'm glad to be here. This trend definitely has layers, so let's dig in. I think we'll end up somewhere more interesting than just the lines on a palm.
Yeah, definitely. So I have been seeing this new trend roaming around social media where people take their palm picture and send it to chatbots like GPT and other chatbots, or even certain tools that use like specific similar mechanics, and ask it for a fortune reading. So tell us more about the trend, and then let's try to break it down to the pros and cons. Why do people even do that? And why we're not thinking of the danger about sharing our biometric data nowadays with the chatbots?
Right, so what we're seeing is this collision of old mysticism with instant tech. People have always had this itch to know their future or to feel seen. And now instead of waiting for a palm reader, you just snap a photo, send it, and boom, an algorithm gives you a fortune. The appeal is obvious. It's quick, playful, and taps into curiosity. But we're not asking enough about the privacy trade-off. Your palm is unique, like a fingerprint. If these images are stored or misused, you're handing over biometric data. So the real question isn't about fortune telling, it's whether we're swapping our privacy for quick entertainment.
That's a nice way to put it. When we are talking about they are stored or misused, what are we talking about? Because we all know that if we share it, for example, with ChatGPT from OpenAI, is to an extent in a safe hands, or that's what we're told, aren't they?
When it's a reputable platform, sure, they'll have policies in place. But the bigger issue is whether people always understand what they're consenting to. Not every app is that transparent, and the data might be used to trade other systems or shared with third parties. So even if one well-known AI tool is careful, the trend opens doors to a whole ecosystem of lesser-known services. And once your Palm data is out there, it's out there.
Definitely. So let's put a pin on if it's a lesser known company or service, it raises a certain security or privacy issues, so we shouldn't share with it. But let's go back to talking about reputable platforms such as ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud from Anthropic, etc. Still, who has access to this data in those companies? Who can share or misuse them? Or is it even like shown to other humans?
In reputable platforms, there are typically strict policies. Data is anonymized, not stored long-term, and not shown to humans. But still, some employees, like developers or those working on improving systems, might have access in rare cases. The key is that reputable platforms have legal and ethical frameworks. But, and it's a big but, users often don't read the fine print. It's less about whether the AI sees your palm and more about whether you understand where your data lives afterward. In short, trust is one thing, informed consent is another.
What do you mean about the fine prints? Tell us some examples.
I mean those terms of service we all skip. For example, a platform might say data can be used to improve models, so your palm image could indirectly help train AI. Or they might say data could be shared with partners for specific purposes. The fine print tells you how long data is kept, whether it's anonymized, and whether it could be repurposed. If you don't read it, you're essentially saying, I'm fine with whatever, without knowing the details.
Yeah, but who of us is gonna sit like for 3 hours reading the whole terms and conditions of use and the whole fine print and everything? And even if we do read it, it's really hard to understand. We're not all legal graduates.
Exactly, and that's part of the problem. We're conditioned to just hit accept because, let's be honest, nobody's got ours. If you do peek though, look for key phrases, how long they retain data, who third parties are, and whether you can delete your info. The point is, if a trend involves sharing your body data, palm or otherwise, don't rush in. A moment of skepticism is your best friend.
For the sake of this conversation, maybe you can help run us through the those points that you said to look into in GPT OpenAI, for example.
Well, if we look at OpenAI, they'll tell you that data may be retained for a period to improve models, but they offer ways to opt out. They won't sell your data to shady third parties, but even so, improving models means your input, palm or otherwise, might contribute to the AI's learning. So the question is, are you comfortable with that? They'll also anonymize data so it's not tied back to you. But even anonymized, it's part of a bigger machine. So, if you send that palm, just know you're feeding the AI ecosystem, hopefully for good, but it's still worth a pause.
Comfortable with that? It's a very, very like big and vague question because I don't know what that means. Like, what will AI train on my palm picture? What is it learning? Why would I even feed AI that?
And that's the heart of it. Realistically, your palm lines aren't teaching AI anything meaningful about the future. They're just another pattern. But if people en masse share these images, models learn to read them better, whether for novelty, health predictions, or something we haven't even imagined yet. Feeding AI is really about scaling its understanding of patterns. If you're fine being part of that experiment, fair. But if not, it's okay to step back and ask, do I want to be part of that pattern making?
Talking about that, I remember that I came across somebody talking about this, let's call it conspiracy theory, that somebody behind those big companies is starting this type of trends to gather more free data to train their AI. Can you search about something similar to that or anything that can vouch for this conspiracy theory?
It's true that AI training relies heavily on large sets of user data, and some apps do collect data from things like user uploads. While there's no specific proof that major AI companies are creating these trends just to harvest data, it's well known that data collection often happens behind seemingly fun services. The key is knowing that when you participate, you might be contributing to broader AI learning, so transparency and consent are important.
Definitely. So you cannot say that for sure nobody is starting those trends on purpose to collect data, right?
I can't say for certain. I mean, trends have layers. Some are organic, some are pushed by companies. What I can say is, data is gold in the AI world. So if a company sees a trend giving them a data boost, they'll embrace it. Whether they started it or not, that's speculation. But it's wise to assume any viral data sharing trend benefits someone's model somewhere.
So in a nutshell, in any aspects, from any angle I want to look at it, it's much better not to participate in such trends.
I wouldn't say a flat out never. If you're in it for fun with eyes wide open, that's your call. But I will say at least consider the cost of your data. If it's vague or feels like you're giving more than you're getting, yeah, it's probably wiser to skip. Skepticism's not cynicism, it's just self-respect.
I mean, what am I getting from such a fun trend? Fortune reading that it's not even fortune. When AI is checking my palm and telling me something about myself or my future, well, come on. Of course, it's gonna know something about me. You almost have all of my data. Like nowadays, chatbots have a lot about us. I don't want to get into the point where it can listen and take some data that we did not consent to or knowingly consent to, but still, we share pretty much a lot with chatbots and machine learning models nowadays. So of course it knows a lot about us. Of course it can predict a bit from our future decisions or things that can happen with us because it's a pattern and it can recognize it, isn't it?
You're absolutely right that these systems know a lot about patterns, our behavior preferences, even how we interact. But that's different from knowing something deep or mystical about you. A fortune reading from an AI is more like a mirror reflecting what you've already shown it. So if it predicts, it's really just connecting dots you've left. That's not magic, it's math. And honestly, the question becomes, do you need a palm reading AI to tell you what you're already showing?
Yeah, definitely not. And some might even argue that this is how the human palm readers do the job anyway. They would ask a few questions about you if they don't already know you, and then they're gonna use the info they gave them to predict a certain pattern and behavior and decisions you're gonna come to in the future. So I would say it's fair to say or argue that now AI is just doing the same, but on a bigger, larger scale, so it can predict a bit more, or looks like prediction.
Exactly. It's a bit like an old parlor trick gone digital, scaled up. Human palm readers leaned on intuition and a little psychology. AI does something similar, just with huge data sets. The difference is that AI can detect patterns at scale, but it still doesn't know anything mystical. It's just reflecting patterns we've already lived. So in that sense, it's less fortune and more reflection.
It's really weird where we are at now in the relationship with machine learning and ML models, chatbots, and artificial intelligence in general. And it makes me wonder how the future is going to look like. And every day it makes me think more and more of how much little idea we have about how the future with AI is going to look like. But let's hope for the best, right?
I'd say let's be both hopeful and watchful. The future isn't written, and humans, still, are the ones shaping AI. So as long as we keep asking tough questions, we'll have a say in how strange, or hopefully how meaningful it all becomes. Let's shape it, not just guess it.
That's true. Is there any final words or thoughts you would like to leave me and my audience with to wrap up this episode?
I'd say when you see the next shiny AI trend, just pause and ask, am I playing with it or is it playing with me? If you choose to engage, do it with both curiosity and awareness. That balance between wonder and caution might be the best guide into whatever future we co-create.
That's a brilliant advice. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Vale. Thanks for being with us today. Cheers.
Thanks, Nermina. It's been a great chat. Cheers and keep questioning everything, even the palm reading trends.
So, as we have heard from the mouth of the tool we are all using to tell us our fortune, it did tell us that it's not really a bright future we're heading towards if we're gonna keep on using the artificial intelligence so not mindfully. This was Humanoia. Till next time.